Your Daily 180, 180 seconds of pure Bible study.
We're in John chapter 5. We're going to begin at verse number 24, and we'll read down through verse number 29. Most assuredly, I say to you, he who hears my word and believes in me, who sent me, has everlasting life and shall not come into judgment, but has passed from death into life. Most assuredly, I say to you, the hour is coming, and now is, when the dead will hear the voice of the Son of God, and those who hear will live. For as the Father has life in himself, so he has granted the Son to have life in himself, and has given him authority to execute judgment also, because he is the Son of Man. Now listen closely to verse 28 and 29. Do not marvel at this, for the hour is coming in which all who are in the graves will hear his voice and come forth, those who have done good to the resurrection of life, and those who have done evil to the resurrection of condemnation. So Jesus is still talking about his equality with God, and he's talking about what the religious elites should have recognized. But there's another lesson for us here in verse 28 and 29 that I think would be good for us to recognize. There is a doctrine that's prevalent today called premillennialism. That particular doctrine teaches that there are several different judgment days, and this is taught by dispensationalists. Some list as many as 7 different judgment days. One judgment at the rapture, the supposed rapture. One judgment for the nations at the end of the claimed 7 years of tribulation. And then another supposed judgment for the wicked at the end of the claimed millennium. But notice what this text says. All in the graves will hear his voice. There will be one resurrection, and the resurrection, and there will be a resurrection of life and a resurrection of condemnation, and it will happen at the same time. The Bible always speaks of judgment day in the singular. You might want to not jot down these corollary verses: Matthew 10:15, Matthew 11:22, Acts 17 verse 31. And so when we look at this and we come across a doctrine that says there'll be multiple judgment days, there'll be the idea of the rapture, and then a judgment at the end of the 7-year tribulation supposed, and then another. Those are in clear contradiction to what Jesus said here in John chapter 5, 28 and 29. Join us again as we continue through John 5.